Hello, my name is Alex, I'm the Patchwork Nerd, and I have new hair. Oh my goodness. I love it so much. I can't stop playing with it. I have a neck again. I'm so happy. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I am having a nice quiet Sunday. It's feeling really good. I wanted to talk to you guys because I have been working on revisions of my novel To Market. I wanted to talk to you guys about how I'm doing so far and some of the things that I have learned along the way about the revision process. Just to back you guys up a little bit, I have not gotten this far with a novel in a really long time. I've been writing since I was very young, and when I was younger, I always assumed everything was done within the first draft. You write a essay, you turn it in, maybe spelling and grammar check it, you're done. It has been such a difficult habit to break. It's been slightly painful, but I really wanted to make sure that I was stopping and going back and revising this novel as much as humanly possible to make it polished and perfect and clean. I'm currently not even sure what draft I'm on anymore because I've done so many rewrites, but I am loving this process and I wanted to let you guys have a little bit of an update and also some advice. First off, I am almost done with Act 1 of my novel. I do a 4-act structure instead of a traditional 3-act structure. I might talk about that in a different video eventually-ish. My main goal is to get the first act done. It was actually to get it done on Friday, but I realized that I needed to chop out a chapter from Act 1, move it to a later chapter, and then add 2 more chapters, so things got a little bit complicated, but I'm happy to say I am really close to being done with this act, and then I will move on to Act 2. I will be actually doing heavy rewrites from here on out, so I'll be writing and revising kind of at the same time and hoping for the best with that. I'm happy to say that I'm still in love with this story, although it's been a stressful process. If you guys have been watching my previous vlogs, it's not all daisies and roses and unicorns. Revising is messy, and that is the first tip I want to talk to you guys about, is to not expect revising to be this clean, tidy process. If you are a writer like me who fast draft, it means you're going to end up with some really messy drafts that you need to fix. I'm also notorious for needing to do rewrites. That's how I discover what's working and what's not working with the story. I have to go in and actually write the scenes and then decide, is this working or not, and then chop them apart and then put them back together. It's really not a straightforward process. For me, it's been this weird patchwork process of writing the scene, giving it time to rest, going back to it, realizing what pieces aren't working, chopping those out, sewing in the new bits, and also fixing lines sort of at the same time. There are times where I delete half of a chapter and then I go rewrite the next half of that chapter, and then I delete half of that rewrite, and then I go back in and fix it again. It's not straightforward and it's not perfect and pretty, and that's okay, because for me, as long as I know I am getting the ideas down that I have made for myself for what I need to fix, then I'm doing okay. Which brings me to my next point. This is my bullet journal. It's my baby, and I would be dead without it. And something that I have been doing in my bullet journal is making revision spreads, where I talk specifically about chapter by chapter what needs to be revised. So in this case, without giving you guys too many spoilers, I have Act 1, and then I have the chapters that are within Act 1, and then I make a bulleted list of the things that need to be revised. For example, one of my first revision notes was that I needed to change the opening of my story. I needed to add a few hints at a bigger subplot, and I needed to make a few magic rules more clear. I follow down the list. I read through the chapter and I follow my bulleted list. I put my stuff in order of how it happens in the chapter, and I go through and check off those things as I get them fixed in the story. And a lot of times while I'm fixing something, something else will pop up that will make me realize that also needs to be revised. And if that pops up, I put it in my bullet journal as well. Keeping lists and organizing the things that you need to revise is going to help you keep your sanity, because again, in my case, it's a very messy process, so having a clean, organized list helps me gain a little bit of control so I'm not getting too overwhelmed and not getting anything done. And that brings me to something that I want to talk about a little bit further, because I talked about it on Instagram and there were some questions about it, and that is the idea of taking big ideas and breaking them down. What I like to do is I like to make a master list of the big picture things that need to be done, and then I break down what little things need to happen in order to make that big thing function or be able to happen within the manuscript. I'm very adamant about creating big picture goals and then breaking them into small digestible goals. Say one of my big picture goals is to fix the character development between the main character and the love interest in Act 1. So what I would do is figure out all the chapters that they are interacting together, and I would break down in each chapter what I need to add in order to give them more development. That way I'm not only doing it overarching as a big picture thing, I'm also fixing the little nitty-gritty things that are popping up in the scenes. And make sure the little things that you are breaking your big picture goals into are actionable. They're things that you can do and things that you can change. Don't make them vague, be as specific as possible. So if I'm trying to break it down, you could make it that in chapter 3, when the main character and the love interest are interacting together for the first time, show more of the awkward behavior between the two characters so we have more build up to when they finally figure it out that they like each other. Like I said, take those big picture things and break them down. And I'm happy to talk to you guys more about that, or if you have more questions how to do that, please leave those in the comments below. Another thing that I am learning is don't be afraid to take your darlings and throw them in a river. I know that sounds really harsh. There have been times where I will just flat out cut out 3,000 words because I realize that the chapter is grinding the pacing to a halt, or I realize that I wrote a scene that contributes nothing to the plot, and that's okay if you make those discoveries. Don't spend a lot of time mourning the loss of things that you have to cut out, because if you do that, you're gonna waste a lot of energy and a lot of time. You gotta just keep going. Don't get too attached to things, because sometimes it's just not working, and that's okay. You have to remember that by cutting out those things, you are opening up opportunities to put the right thing in its place. So don't get upset. And don't be hard on yourself if you were chopping things out left and right, because that means you are getting closer to creating the story that you're envisioning. That's my look at what I've learned so far about revisions, and so far I am really happy with my story. I've been learning my pacing, I've been learning my process. This has been a lot of trial and error because, again, I haven't gotten this far with the manuscript in a really long time, so I'm relearning and also just flat out learning a lot of things about my process. Don't be hard on yourself if there is a bit of a learning curve with understanding your revisions. It's okay. It takes time, and you can keep doing this and keep doing this and keep doing this, and it's still going to surprise you, and you are still going to have new things pop up, and that's okay. Just roll with the punches. I want to thank you guys so much for following my writing journey, and I hope you guys are having tremendous success with your stories. And please let me know, how is writing going for you? Are you revising a story right now? And if you guys could, please leave that in the comments down below. Otherwise, if you are new to my channel, please hit that happy little subscribe button down below. I post new videos on Mondays, and I also host a chat over on Twitter called #WritersPatch. It's every Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, and it's a chance for writers to come together and support each other and answer writing related questions. I'd love to see you there. Thank you so much for joining me today, and as always, remember, keep writing, keep laughing, and most importantly, please keep encouraging each other. And love your new haircuts, because I love this new haircut so much. All right, I will see you guys next time. Toodles!